Welcome to Variant Edition, your source for comic book news and culture. I'm Mike.
And I'm Nick. Every week, Variant Edition brings you the best that comics have to offer. It's a half hour of comic book culture, news, reviews, and interviews. And we've been doing it since February 2006.
It's pretty amazing that we've hit episode 50. We were the first weekly video podcast show about comics, and now we've expanded with Variant Edition Tuesdays.
And in addition to some of the cool plans that we have for later this year, we're also on TV through Akimbo On Demand.
It's funny to think that we started with only 2 cameras and a dream. Anything is possible through the internet.
Okay, to celebrate our 50th, it's wall-to-wall reviews.
That's right, half-hour comic and statue reviews, and it starts now!
Alright guys, the first review for this week was issue 29 of New Avengers. Now after last issue's shocking revelations and just like complete, utter what the F moment, we see that the New Avengers start the issue off in Japan fighting off the Hand with Elektra, which we kind of left off last time. Or prelude to the issue before that, I can't remember. But in actual context time before that, they were being chased down by the Mighty Avengers, Tony's new squad, when he set up that new trap in the helicarrier. So you see that, you see the groundwork for what's going to happen later on when they do come back to the States, because Luke Cage asked for Elektra's help in order to get back to the States and get back at Tony for what he's done with the whole Registration Act, for Cap dying, and just for, things turning out the way they have, and, the New Avengers becoming outlaws in their own country. So it was a really great issue. Really, a lot of action panels, like tight penciling scenes, and it was a lot of fun to read and a lot of fun just to look at just how the dialogue matched up with every character's action, and just the way that Spider-Man's being written is a lot more humorous and a lot more funny than he is in his other books, where it's really more dampered down and he's all sad and really meaned out. So it was a really great issue. I can't wait to see where this goes. Even though it's kind of conflicting with what's going in Mighty Avengers, it'll all catch up, later on. But I highly recommend this book. It's so good, and I can't wait to see where this goes for the next year.
All right, so I took a look at Legion of Monsters, Werewolf Thing, and now I'm taking a look at Legion of Monsters, Man Thing, which is, your typical Swamp Thing sort of character. He's from a swamp. He guards the area, and there's this crazy whacked out town, and there's this one guy who owns all of the town, and well, apparently he found him in the swamp after being exposed to chemicals in his weakened form, and him and his friends have been eating him slowly over the past couple months, until eventually this Hispanic woman gives him flowers on the corpse, and he gets re-energized, and he kills everybody. Weird story. Fun to read, though. I'd recommend it. And the bonus here is Simon Garth Zombie is the backstory here. There's always a second story in these Legion of Monsters, is what it looks like. And Simon Garth is a gray voodoo zombie who they find under a building after this place explodes because of the swamp. And he comes back to life, but he's not really back to life. And the meds at the hospital that this corpse is taken to says he's dead. Just, put him in the morgue. And well, he gets up and starts walking around. And he gets into a little bit of a fight and kills a guy, and then he's about to kill this girl, but he's like, oh, wait, no, she actually wants this, so I'm not going to kill her. And then he tries to get jumped, and there's a big beating going on, and then the cops show up, and he plays dead. So they take the corpse back to the same hospital, and the nurse thinks it's like some kind of big joke. But Simon Garth gets himself a stiff. Yeah, he picks up a girlfriend in the morgue. They go back. They nestle down into the ground, and they have a good time. Zombie babies all around. I say pick up Legion of Monsters Man Thing #1. Seems like a great comic, and I'm looking forward to it.
Hey guys, it's Nick, doing my reviews for this week, or whatever week this is going to fall into. Anyway, I got a lot of comments through emails about, oh, Nick, have you read City of Others? Bernie Wrightson, he did Frankenstein, which was amazing. And, I haven't gotten to the review, but I have read it, so here's the review now. And all of you who kind of like the kind of comics that I read, the creepy comics as some of you call them, definitely check out City of Others. It's a bunch of zombies, vampires, this guy who loves to kill people, and he gets thrown in with these zombies. And it's great. There's a little scene where it's just, all these zombies really aren't, and you're kind of like, infected, world domination, kind of crap, infestation, garbage that's so out there. They're more like they seem more like voodoo zombies, because they're all mindlessly going on this train, which is taking them to a destination. Zombies on a train might sound like a Sam Jackson flick, but it was actually really cool to see this guy just on a train full of zombies. So, I'm looking forward to seeing where they're going. You guys, Bernie Wrightson, you can't go wrong. His artwork's amazing in it. You have this creature come out of this woman's stomach. Amazing comic. So, you guys definitely check it out if you're into the creepy stuff. If not, screw you.
Hey everybody, how you doing?
I'm Jen.
And I'm Mike, here this week at Variant Edition's Toy and Statue Review.
Woohoo!
And we're looking at this one here.
This is someone would say...
Very nice, Awesome, even.
Ah.
Sideshow, toys, collectibles, so many names.
Yes.
They have, but this is the...
Polystone Diorama collection. It's a diorama-rama.
It's wonderful. This would be in the same category as that Fantastic Four statue we looked at, Diorama. But very, very nice piece.
Yes, and what you should have to type in diorama on eBay just to find them, right?
Yeah,
You're not just finding them
No,
under,
I put statue and bust. You don't see them. You got to go diorama.
Gotta look diorama.
But awesome. One of the things I like the most about this statue is, a lot of the superhero statues, you get either a regular human musculature or a crazy overboard superhero musculature. In this, you get both.
Yes.
The Spider-Man's musculature is awesome, pretty realistic, but super cut and thin.
Yes.
And the Venom is just overboard.
And the pose is just so dynamic.
Yeah. Now, I will admit, I'm a bit of a statue nut. There was a Japanese statue by Future Models with a Hacator and a woman bee on his back. And the pose is so close that I almost wouldn't be surprised if the guy who did this
Definitely
had seen
inspired by that.
That doesn't put it down. I respect it a little more for
Very
that.
awesome.
But amazing. Right down to skin texture. Spider-Man doesn't have much other than the lines and things.
Right, but they're nicely painted.
Yeah, beautifully done, airbrushed in the negatives of his musculature. The Venom is where it's at. The Venom has got such fine actual pores, skin detail and texture, and it's dry brushed a little bit. Nice. The only thing I could say wrong with the whole thing is the teeth are maybe not painted as nice as I would paint them.
Well,
I will.
You are the statue
I will correct that.
You are the statue nut.
I'll correct it.
And before, we got the statue, and I know there were at least a list of a dozen things that you told me that you were going to do. Teeth were one of them. Come on, tell me what else you were going to do.
I'm going to fix up this hand webbing he's got. I'm going to, lots of things, but you'll maybe see that at a later date. We'll see. But just back to the sculpture, just not the awesome musculature, but the twists that Spider-Man's twisting the arm back. Wonderful.
The tongue wrapping around his arm.
Spider-Man's grabbing his tongue and it's coiling up around his Venom's tongue is around Spider-Man's wrist.
The bricks and they're flying everywhere out the back. You'll see that when we spin them.
If you're a Spider-Man or a Venom fan, you got to check this character
definitely.
out. This is a beautiful one.
And it's a run of 1,200.
Yeah, it's 1,200 of them. It just came. Well, it's
not
2000.
A lot, but
2006 it came out, so you can still find them for not too much. But a beautiful piece, definitely worth checking out. And I guess that's that. So have a good one, everybody.
Bye.
Later.
Casualties of War, Ghost Rider number 16, picks up where Ghost Rider was left off in this town where this weird stuff is happening. There's been grave robbings and stuff's just going weird, and you find out more about what's actually going on in the story. Apparently, Satan's back, and he's back through pieces of his soul that have been spread around through different, bodies. And when they all gather back up together, he will be at full strength and he'll come back. Problem is Ghost Rider standing in his way. And whose body does this Satan actually take his form in this time? Jack-o'-lantern. That's a character I love, because he's a Spider-Man villain. But, so it's Jack-o'-lantern, flaming head, leading an army of zombies. It's on the second page. This massive army of zombies, Jack-o'-lantern in the front, and then the house explodes. It's all a trap, and Jack-o'-lantern thinks he's got the upper hand, but he doesn't, because Ghost Rider's there with the town sheriff of all people to save the day. Which, of course, he does. So, this is the way the story is going. I want to see where the other pieces of Satan wound up, and I'm looking forward to continuing on with this read, and hopefully this arc is going to be great, because it already is.
Alright, I'm going to be reviewing something that's a little bit different from what we normally review on this show, but we know that a lot of people watch the show, and a lot of people that we cover for the show are up-and-coming, artists and creators and writers, that some of you out there might not really know how to get your foot in the door, or have an image in your head, but you don't know really how to pen it out with a story and draw it out for art. So I was in Barnes & Noble. Check it out. The Complete Idiot's Guide to Creating a Graphic Novel. That's pretty much anybody. I saw it, and I'm like, these books are good. It's your basic, dummies book for whatever, Complete Idiot's Guide for whatever, except this time it goes into creating graphic novels. And it goes into, a very simple and very easy, especially, someone like myself, I don't really know how to do sequential art or to make a story work for, a script or to have dialogue and stuff like that. This breaks it down for you. And it even goes into like tips of like, oh, if you have trouble, drawing some of your creations, find somebody who has a story. Something that's completely new and fresh will give you a bunch of new things that you can work on that you never thought of before. Really good stuff in this book. Goes into how you can, how stories should be laid out, how art should go with the stories, and it's a really nice look to get like a professional side of how to make a graphic novel. And for those of you out there who want to get into the comic book industry, graphic novels are pretty much where it's at. Because, you can get a movie made of it someday. Whether nobody read the comics, Hollywood might think your story's hot shit. So, check out The Complete Idiot's Guide to Creating a Graphic Novel.
All right, next review for this week, issue 2 of Mighty Avengers. It's the beginning of a new arc, beginning of a new book, so obviously everyone's in a state of confusion with the whole Ultron deal coming back as like a really hot chick standing naked in the middle of Manhattan. So it's really funny dynamic between all the team because you got Ares the God of War, pretty much a psycho killer, Black Widow, Killer Midas the psychotic, Sentry, Nutcase Boy, Miss Marvel, all good recruit, cadet, whatever. Iron Man, who's nowhere to be found right now because he's been taken over by Ultron, and Wonder Man, who's kind of the experienced, actor / I used to be an Avenger, don't want to be anymore, and Wasp, who's just there, I think, just for decoration because no one really likes her. So right now, everybody's in a state of just awe because they don't know what to do. Miss Marvel wants to fall back and retreat and come back with like a strategy, a plan of attack, while Ares just wants to just like kill Ultron full on without knowing what happened to Tony or where Tony is. And so there's a lot of like interesting things going on in this book right now because it's just in a state of it's kicking off. A lot of foundations are being built, so there's like a lot to go yet in just opening arc. So it'll be really exciting to see how the character dynamic works between everybody. And how they're going to figure this problem out of, defeating Ultron after being defeated about, 100 times already in Avengers history. So this book is a lot of fun. I'm still getting used to Cho's artistic take on guys. Love the girls, but the guys are really questionable. But it's going to be a lot of fun, and I recommend this book if you're reading both Avengers titles.
X Factor number 18. The gang's all here. You see, what we're dealing with is everybody's back from their little trips. Monet, St. Croix, and Siren, they're back from Paris, and they've got a political refugee with them. Illegal alien, not really a great thing to bring back to the country, but whatever. You got Jamie Madrox, who's come back from gathering his clones, and he hasn't got them all yet, but he assures us that he will. And they don't really say that in the comic, but you can tell that that's what he's going to do eventually. So X-Cell is going on inside of X Factor. X-Cell is a group of X-mutants who lost all their powers during M-Day, and now they blame the government, and they have plans to have a terrorist organization, and they're going to take the whole thing down. Problem is, X Factor is hired kind of by the FBI to kind of stop it from happening and investigate what's going on. Meanwhile, Petro's, Quicksilver, he's making a deal with the leader of X-Cell to give him all of his mutant buddies back their powers, but you know how that goes. They get way too strong. Callisto shows up and kind of yells at him for making her skin ultra-sensitive. But that's not important. What we have here is Layla Miller doesn't see something coming. The political refugee from France. Big surprise to her. Doesn't know who this girl is or where she came from or why she's there. And that's a first for Layla Miller. So maybe Layla Miller doesn't know all the stuff going on. But she sends out X-Factor to do their things, even though this whole thing's going to blow over on its own. And, she sends Guido and Ron, and she's like, go to the sewer. And Monet, St. Croix, and Siren, you're going to go sit in the street corner and just wait. And, Madrox and Richter, you guys got to go buy these sandwiches. Well, they buy the sandwiches, but leads to the Blob demanding the food, and that causes the Blob to bring in an assassin, who then hops in a car with the Blob and drives past where Siren and Monet St. Croix are. And they hit the sewer that Guido and Ron left opened. So by Layla sending them to these places and telling them to do these things, she's then encouraged something to happen. So maybe Layla can change the way things are going to happen in their world. It's confusing. Trying to follow it, stick with it. Also, another X title we got, X-23, second to last issue. It picks up right where it left off. You've got, her aunt and Megan in the basement. She's dealing with Kimura, and they're having a fight. And apparently Kimura has adamantium skin. Now it's all explained to me. That's why she can't hurt her, because adamantium against adamantium means nothing. Really cool scene, which needs to be mentioned, is that Kimura's got X-23 handcuffed down. And she can't cut through the chain this time because they're adamantium handcuffs. Ingenious. Until Kimura looks the other way, and X-23 slices off her own hand, gets free, locks her down to this pipe. and then sends Megan and her mom upstairs. She's like, you got 3 minutes to get out of the house, take everything you need, and that's it. And then she goes to take a swing at Chimera. X-23 takes a swing at Chimera, but punctures a gas main and then lights a light. So the whole house explodes. Chimera's okay, of course, and Megan and her mom and X-23 are on the run. X-23 sets Megan and her mom up with a fake passport and sends them off to Canada. Safe house over here, there's money there, take that money and leave, move around, never stay in the same place for more than a couple days, change your story everywhere you go, don't get caught. So, looking forward to what's going on with X-23, because the next one's the conclusion when she finally goes up against Wolverine. Now, while we're talking about X-23, we may as well talk about her team, New X-Men. This is a great book, because what we're looking at is magic coming back, but they do it by a blind little mutant girl who can foresee the future, telling a story, which is just a fun way to do it because they change the artwork in it, and Santo and a couple other of the ex-students are standing around or sitting around in this little lounge with a fireplace telling scary stories, and Santo is making up lies about how he saved Wolverine and Colossus and everything else. While the blind girl steps up and tells her the story about what's going on and the whole magic background. So if you guys don't know who Magic is, this is a great way to introduce you to a character who's going to be coming back. Anyway, it goes on, there's this guy, he's in hell, he creates magic kicks him out of his dimension of hell, he's, expanded out. M-Day happens, he's way awakened, he kind of gets this, urge to go and, get back his rightful place on this throne where this other girl who's named Magic has been taken up. But she's not really Magic is somewhere else. Kind of hard to tell you what's going on in this comic. You're going to have to pick it up to find out what exactly is going on and who Magic is.
We've got Aphrodite 9 this week.
Yeah, this is an awesome one. This is a Clayburn Moore piece from CS Moore Studios, and
it's from a Top Cow Productions book, which was released years ago, and really don't know much about the book, but I'm kind of interested in checking it out.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Pretty hot.
As usual, Clayburn Moore does amazing stuff. Love that guy. Gotta love him.
She's stunning. Lots of detail.
Beautiful.
I
mean, I don't know if you can see it. I didn't notice it until I looked at the statue up close. She's got robotic legs going on, and they're awesome. The detail on them is so fine and technical, and then you got the other flowing, subtle things of the skirt and the flesh. Beautiful. Awesome base.
Painted.
Now, this is one of these things, Clay's been doing this a lot, and I think I like it a lot, is this was a piece that came out a long time ago. I'm not exactly sure when it originally came out, but a couple things. I reviewed that Savage Dragon bust. That was also a re-release.
Okay.
He's doing artist proofs, so they're coming out in smaller runs than original.
So this is an artist proof, which means it's limited to 500. So if you can get your hands on it, you want to pick it up quick because
get it. They're not going to be around long.
Get it.
Yeah, but I like that idea a lot. A lot of them that he's doing have subtle paint variations, so the people that bought the originals can't complain that it killed their collectible value. Right. But people who miss stuff are getting a second chance to get it, and that's a great idea.
That's a wonderful idea. And now that you can readily pick it up. I mean, even though it's a short run, you can get a chance of getting it.
It's pricey. It's a $200 sculpture, but that's what most
sculpture.
Comic book statues of this size and quality are going for, if not more nowadays. So, but definitely check it out. I mean, amazing sculpture. It's got really cool printed things going on, which I understand there are other characters from the comic book on the base. Very, very cool. Definitely worth checking out.
All right, I'm not reviewing a comic for this review. I'm reviewing a graphic novel. I was in the Secret Stash the other week, and I saw this in there. It's, Mike Mignola art. Not sure how to pronounce the first character's name. Fafrd, and the Grey Mouser. Anyway, I saw it. It looks like nice, old-school stuff. It's based off of, really old stories and everything. The characters are nice. Fafrd is, a northerner, kind of Viking barbarian-looking guy, but not really. They're kind of like the chivalrous knights. The other guy, the Grey Mouser, he's more of he'll use his wits to get him out of a situation. He's good with a sword, and he can talk his way out of pretty much anything. These stories, I haven't even finished the book yet, but it's a bunch of different stories. The first one, really, really good ending. These characters, after that, it's kind of long and drawn out, and you kind of hate some of the characters in it. But when it all ends at the end for that first story, you're just holy crap, what are they going to go off and do now? And it goes into that. And it's really, really great, because you don't see comics nowadays where it's people on, a journey, with no real destination, and running into these characters who were there for a reason and a purpose and keep showing up. It's really kind of like the Canterbury Tales, if you can go back to like your high school days when you read that. One of the things I like the best about this is the writing. There's a scene where Fafrd and the Grey Mouser are like sword fighting, and he says, "Oh, you must be civilized." And he says, "Civilized how?" And he says, "To care in the eye of action exactly what is said and how it's said." Now that, two guys going into semantics about, discussion while they're fighting guys and killing people, that's great. It just kind of shows you what kind of characters these guys are. They're not like your dumb brutes. They kind of have their wits about them, and, they're tough, but they're smart. They don't do things foolhardily. They do things with a plan. And I'm really looking forward to see where these guys are going to go. All I know is I flip through the back, there's a giant octopus wielding a bunch of swords. Enough said.
All right, last review this week, the Lightning Saga kicks off in the DC Universe between the Justice League of America and the Justice Society of America. Now, the first part is in issue 8 of the Justice League, where we see the Karate Kid, and no, it's not that Karate Kid. I'm sure Ralph Macchio still has that, legal debauchery somewhere to keep that name. Anyway, you see the Karate Kid in the Batman's lair between Batman and Black Lightning, going over, the Bat computer and trying to get some kind of analysis or, some kind of backstory on this kid and where he come from, who he is, how he came to be. And we see the Legion of Superhero ring on his finger, and they don't even know what that is. So this is all going to be really interesting because if you're reading Legion, their stuff takes place way in the future, and Supergirl's a part of that, and that's a whole nother ordeal that I didn't want to get into. So I think this is going to be really good because two team dynamics, and then you have this other team that no one knows anything about, and there's some relative coincidences that are going to go on that might tell us what's going to happen between the Justice League and Justice Society within the next coming years, or what might happen to the future of the DCU in the next coming years. We don't know. So this is going to be really good, and look out for part 2 and issue, I believe, 5 or 6 of Justice Society of America. This is going to be a really great crossover, and I can't wait to see where this goes.
Another book that I happened to stumble upon while I was in the stash was Morbid Curiosity, an art book by artist Mike Dubish. And I've never heard of him. I mean, he's done stuff in the past. Not really familiar with his work, but all he's got to say is I saw the book, I flipped through it for like a minute, had to buy it. It's very Lovecraftian, kind of demons, monsters, things with like really, really good skin texture and really good detail, kind of bone but living. Really nice work. If you like stuff with like a lot of beasties and monsters, definitely check this book out.
All right, that's it for Variant Edition. I have to say, it's been fun these last 15 months. It seems like only yesterday.
Hi everyone, welcome to Variant Edition. I'm Ricky.
And I'm Mike.
We're a podcast show that covers everything in the comic book world.
I'm Nick, and this is the news. With Free Comic Book Day set for May 6th, DC Comics is adding a second title to their lineup, Superman Batman #1 Free Comic Book Day edition.
If you like us, you can send your fan mail to fanmail@variantedition.com. And if you hate us, you can send us to hatemail@variantedition.com. We're looking forward to the hate mail.
Take care, guys.
Have a good one. Wow. I can't believe we ever shot that wide, and I really miss that shirt.
I'm glad my jaundice got better. So one of the biggest issues we've had this year has been our schedule. We'll own up to it. We're the bigger person here. But we haven't always come out on time. But with the Variant Edition Tuesdays, we've got that under control. And by the time you see this, we should have the rest of our scheduling issues behind us.
And if you are wondering where the Saturday episode of the New York Comic Con is, well, you'll be seeing it in about a week.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of plans. And by that little look of how far we have come, well, we just want to keep moving forward.
And speaking of upcoming plans, don't forget to check out our forums and let us know what you think of our proposed new website. We're looking for your input. Let us know what you think.
And don't forget, there are quite a few ways to watch us. You got iTunes, VO, YouTube, Google Video, Blip TV, and on television through Akimbo On Demand. But if you want the best quality video and the quickest downloads, head over to variantedition.com.
That's a lot of way to watch us. That's it for Variant Edition. Thanks for watching.